Good evening and welcome to Delaware TV. Tonight, we have a candidate, House Representative of Ohio, District 23rd, Dontavius Jarrells. Dontavius, welcome to Delaware TV.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be on.
And who is Dontavius Jarrells?
Yeah, I think in like three words, I would describe myself as a fighter, someone who is resilient and an innovator. When I think about, just my life and when I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, originally, spent a lot part of my life doing advocacy work, and learned early in my youth that I wanted to stand up for people who couldn't speak for themselves, and that kind of just morphed into a love of policy. And when I went to college, continued that work, majored in political science, economics. And then when the opportunity arose to figure out what was the next step after college, it was either going to law school or getting a job. And lo and behold, something fell out the sky. It was a Legislative Service Commission fellowship. And that was an opportunity to spend 13 months in the State House here in Columbus. And so I applied. It was literally the last day it was due. And, after 3 interviews later, I was one of 2 African-American leaders to be selected and be a part of it. So I came down here in 2011 and really haven't looked back ever since. Just been working to really build a better Ohio for all of us and build space where, our voices are at the table. And so, in short, I'm a fighter, I'm resilient, I'm an innovator, and I'm here to bring real change to the State House.
The district has faced many challenges, as you know,
Yeah.
and there's so many, but just not limited to a housing issue,
Right.
economic issue. Based on your policy, what changes can we expect from you?
Yeah, I'll say this. I think that there are a number, as you said it, number of issues impacting the district. First and foremost, you mentioned housing. I think it's important that we do address the housing issue. In the 25th House District, 6 people a day get evicted from my district, 6 people a day. And so when or 6 families a day, when you think about the impact it has on across a family. And so, one of the biggest things I want to do is address the fact that there are families who are in trouble, right, of losing their homes. So what can we do to provide them with affordable housing? The violence issue in our community is really another piece that we got to address. Unfortunately, when I was reading a couple of articles, and President Shannon Hardin from City Council had asked a young man about, what would change to get you off the street. He was like a $20 an hour job. And so as a state legislator, how am I connecting the careers that are readily available in my district to the community and the neighborhoods across the district? And so that's the big thing for me as a state rep. And then also tackling, the realities and the economic changes that have happened since COVID. It's really important that the first things we do is really get our state back on track as it relates to what's happened. Currently, as you all have seen, some of you have seen, COVID is on the rise in Ohio across all counties. And it's going to be important if we're going to go to an economic shutdown or something, how are we going to look at the economic viability, revitalization of our state and of the district? And so really focusing on small businesses, doing everything we can to help with unemployment, connecting folks to, again, supports and jobs if they've lost their jobs. Those are the types of things that I see as priorities going into the State House in January.
As you said, COVID have impacted the communities living within the district.
Yeah.
Will there be a new package that we can expect that help out the small businesses that within the district?
That's a good question. At the moment, I don't know. I know we're moving into lame duck after the election is over. So there's a number of priorities that I would assume the current General Assembly will be taking a look at, especially if our numbers continue to rise. I know that in the next GA, we definitely have to address, the economic revitalization of the district and really looking at having a hard look at all of the issues that impact our families because of what's happened with COVID. And so my hope is that now, instead of later, we can address some of those hardships and realities that families are facing. But if we don't see any change, you best believe it, in January, I'm going to be pushing for real opportunities and policies that are going to help families thrive in the district, but also across the state.
Now let's come back to the politics of this situation. Obviously, there are a lot of new voters recently within your district, and some of them are sort of saying, you know, what is this? It's the same old song. Why is Jarrells different than the previous Democrats? Why are you different? I know that you are, as a you're new to the. Your face is new to the game. I can't say new, but you've been around behind the scenes, but as a public official. But why you?
Yeah, so I'll tell you, whether it is the Somali community or the Bhutanese, the Pali community or the Laotian community, I've been in the trenches. I've been talking about these issues, talking to families, talking to neighbors about what's happening across cultural perspectives. And I think that that's what made me unique, not just as a candidate, but as a leader, is someone who really understands, if we are going to build true equity, every voice from all walks of life has to be at the table. And so that's the type of leadership that I try to exude, not just in my public life, but private life as well. And so I think that's what makes me different. I also am very open to talking to every single family, regardless of who you are, regardless of what neighbor you come from. Like, we have to make sure that we're opening up spaces and opportunities for families to hear to see their voices transform policy. And I'm not trying to say that. I think Representative Boyce or Commissioner Boyce, former representative of this district, did a great job of really listening to our communities, cultural communities. So I want to take some of the work that has been done and just amplify it, and continue to have it grow. And there's some specific things that I want to address too, as far as cultural connectivity, making sure that communities across cultures feel connected to the district in a way that they haven't before. So I think that's also what makes me unique. I'm not the same old. I'm someone who's really going to bring a level of authentic connectivity to people in a way that, they feel me, they feel the district, and they feel their voices being heard.
What can you do to increase or bring a better gap relationship between the communities living within the district or Columbus Police Department?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I think there's a number of things that I can do. One, mind you, I'm a state official, so part of my job would be creating laws to address some of these issues. But as a champion for what I believe are important, innovative solutions, like how do we redesign public safety, re-examine public safety, re-innovate public safety, is making sure that we're connecting our residents' voices for change with the bodies that need to be changed, right? I'll say this. I think issue 2 is a tremendous first step. Being able to bring on an inspector general and being able to bring on a civilian review board that's going to hold police accountable and law enforcement accountable to our communities. That's the first step. The next step is, and this is something that I would love to address and look at, how do we professionalize the service, the law enforcement? How do we build licensure, like a certification process in the state where, bad actors can get their licensure pulled, right? And I know that there's been a number of other legislators who are looking into this idea, and there seems to be some movement, some traction on this, but I would love to be a part of that type of conversation. So being a bridge in my community and connecting them to, make sure their voices are heard on the innovative policies that are happening at the city level, being a champion for innovative state policy, but really just advocating for police in our neighborhoods to really address law enforcement equitably is something that I think is the right direction, not just for the district, but for the state.
Finally, what's your message for our viewers without living within the district?
Yeah, one, I plan to build a district where no one is unseen, unheard, or uninspired. And to get there, it's going to take all of our voices to be at the table. And so I'm excited about the work on day one as your new state representative to really bring your voice with me as we tackle some of the hardest challenges that are facing the district, but also facing Ohio. I'm asking for grace as this is there's so many other dynamics at play within this district that I want to address. And so, my hope is, you can give me all the information, all the stories, all the perspective, and really give me an opportunity to be at your dinner table, to talk to your family about what's needed for your family to thrive, and help me get there with you, right? I can't not do this by myself. It's going to take all of our voices. It's going to take action from all of us. I might need you to testify at a committee. I might need you to write a letter to the governor. I might need you to, send an email. But all of those things helps move great innovative policy forward so that your family and my family can thrive and we can build a better Ohio for all of us. And so I really am excited about the work that lies ahead. And I just want to say thank you. And I'm honored to get your vote to be your next state representative.
That is Dontavius Jarrells, who's a candidate for District 23rd House Representative. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks.
bulshadeen